Hello, everyone. My name is Shahana. I am the enrollment advisor for the LSE Digital Marketing Career Accelerator program. So thank you for everyone for joining this evening. This is what we're going to do today. We're going to speak a bit more about the LSE Career Accelerator, and we're going to speak to an academic course facilitator within the program and a career coach today, which will be amazing. So if you have any questions that you want to ask during this session, there is a chat, an option on the button called Q&A. If you ask questions there, that'll be perfect. Don't go onto the chat link because it will get all muddled. So go onto the Q&A section and then ask questions there, and then we'll be able to answer all your questions there. But yeah, let's get started, shall we? So we're going to discuss this career accelerator. And we're going to speak to today Simon, who is the agency founder and CMO lead facilitator on the Digital Marketing Career Accelerator. So introduce yourself, Simon.
Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining us this evening. So I am currently the lead facilitator on the LSE's digital marketing program. We are just finishing up the employer project. There's some really interesting stuff that's happened on that. Before that, I founded my own digital marketing agency and have been a chief marketing officer for some well-known brands and some emerging brands. I started my career kind of accidentally as a digital marketer. I launched a brand of socks online over a decade ago, and I learned the hard way that digital marketing is really, really hard to do. And I kind of vowed then that I really found that part of the job really interesting. And I vowed that one day I would go back to it and learn properly, and that's what I did. And then after that, I started to work as a consultant and then set up my own agency. So I've kind of done everything from, I've made all the mistakes, I've used all the tools, and I've learned the hard way that strategy is where you need to start. So that's why I'm here at the LSE, because that's what I hope to help people understand.
Thank you for that, Simon. Really good to understand what you've done in the past and what you're doing now and what you're contributing to our Career Accelerator. It's fantastic. And also we're speaking to our career coach today, Elizabeth. So Elizabeth, feel free to introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth. I am one of many career coaches as part of the 4FF team. So we're quite a good sized team. My background, it comes from HR and employment law. And along my journey, I did a career change into career coaching because I just thought there has to be a better way. Working in HR and working from the employment law side of things, I saw so many people in the wrong roles for them and that massive mismatch in the types of work people were doing and how that would make people unhappy or how that would bring out certain behaviors you don't really want in the workplace just because they're doing the wrong things for themselves. So I retrained. I found out about career coaching and retrain to help people find work that is truly meaningful for them, to ensure that we are happy at work and we're not down the pub complaining on a Friday night about how much we hate our jobs. And that's really like my passion. And where I come into kind of this program is, you'll have Simon teaching you all the amazing technical stuff. And myself or one of the other coaches in the team are here to help you understand all of that career stuff that's happening. It's amazing that you're potentially going to invest in yourself and come and join us, but how is that going to help you in your job search or in the career decisions you make? And you get coaching to support you with that.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, Elizabeth. Very inspiring for the learners that are tuned in today. A lot of them are considering whether this program is the right one for them. And I would say that was a lot of the learners that joined, like the previous cohorts, are very unsure. And I'm sure you work with learners that are a bit more sure of what they want to do, right?
Yeah, by the time they kind of come to us and come to like the career coaching, or they've had a few sessions with Simon, they kind of know that digital marketing is where they want to be. The majority of our learners that do come on these programs are what we class as career changers. So people who have had a career previously and they're looking to do something different. We also have people who are starting out, so early career, or people who are looking to add additional skills to their toolkit to help them advance. But it is very common to be in that, I want to do something different. How does that all come together? Because what you've done previously 100% will help you going forwards as well. It's not you need to learn everything from scratch. And as a career coach, I can help you kind of pull out all of those transferable skills and start to talk about them in a different way with a digital marketing lens to help you achieve where you're trying to get to.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Elizabeth and Simon. Now, let's talk about digital marketing. So why digital marketing? In a changing business landscape, digital marketing offers a career where you can build adaptable skills to stay close to innovation and contribute meaningfully to business growth. Let's look at some of the most recent industry data points. So the marketing skill set is always evolving with the latest opportunity. And because of that, we've seen AI literacy become vital. So there's expanding opportunities in 2024 alone. So approximately 80,000 new roles were added, particularly in digital-focused positions. So AI marketers are very much in demand and can command high salaries. The AI today has helped to future-proof this career. And today's marketers are just not keeping up. They're building adaptable, in-demand careers by working at the intersection of strategy, creativity, and technology. So we've designed this LSE Career Accelerator to equip you with the skills needed to navigate and lead in this ever-changing landscape. So Simon, from your perspective as a marketing leader, why do you think now is such a pivotal moment to build a career in digital marketing?
I'm really jealous of anyone who is starting out their career now in digital marketing. I think it's a really exciting time. First of all, we need good people and lots of them, right? So the digital first shift that we were seeing before the pandemic was accelerated and embedded by the pandemic. We're not going back to not being digital first, and that means that most businesses, most organizations have a digital presence on the web, on social media as a minimum. And most of them need to grow. They need to grow their impact. They need to grow their revenues. And to do that, they need to do things digitally. So as you've pointed out in this, right, there is demand there. But what makes this shift to digital really interesting is that it's just given us lots of toys and data to play with. Sorry, toys is sort of slightly understating it, but effectively we've got a really good and interesting, accessible toolkit to look at the data of what we're doing, but also what our competitors are doing. So it's never been easier to get that insight. How am I doing compared to last month? How am I doing compared to Rolls-Royce if I'm BMW? You know, we can really get an insight into what we're doing. And that means marketing has always been about an art, right? The art of making people buy. And we can now make it really into a science. So combining the art and the science, which is kind of what we focus on in this accelerator, is what makes it really exciting. At the same time, we're obviously seeing AI come in, as you pointed out, right? So, and that is really helping the sort of the sector pivot, not in perhaps the way that you were thinking, right? It's not making marketing easier. Let me sort of explain why, right? So most marketers I know, most digital marketers are using AI every day. We're doing it not to replace the work that we did or replace other people, just to speed things up, to enhance our work. Kind of marketers that are really good are almost becoming superhero marketers because what they're doing is they're able to free their time up to think strategically, to do things really in a sort of productive, impactful way, much, much more quickly, right? So that's the pivot, is that we're not spending as much time on really time-consuming, boring tasks. So if you've done any digital marketing, you know that reporting is a real proverbial pain in the proverbial part of your body. It's just an annoying thing to do. We don't have to do that as much, right? But that means that basically really good digital marketers are using these tools to accelerate their productivity, to enhance their thinking. And it's because they can use AI like a sort of a really useful, but perhaps a bit stupid intern. To get the most out of that intern, you need to treat it, you need real skills and experience, you need to be a good coach, and you need to be able to judge where the outputs make sense, right? And conversely, if you're just an average marketer, you're not going to be able to use it like an intern. You're going to be led by the system. And so that's what we're seeing, is that really good marketers that can think strategically are using this to kind of really stand out, whereas really bad average marketers, of which there are some out there, are kind of just using it to level the playing field, right? AI can only make you average unless you lead where it's going. And so that's why I think kind of fundamentally, this is why we do what we do at the LSE, is because we're helping people stand out by really applying the thinking that's needed. And so you can pick up any AI tool. Do you see what I mean? It's not the AI tool that makes the marketer, it's how you use the AI tool. So that's just one example. And that's why I think it's just such an exciting time. There's just so much to make you brilliant if you are prepared to apply, to learn, and to apply that fundamental thinking.
Thank you for that really thorough explanation, Simon. I think that was a wonderful explanation, conveying the specialty of AI and marketing and how it can very much go together and combine to create a beautiful things. So thank you for that. Now speaking about the course curriculum, I'll go through what will be covered within the course. So it's a 6-month program, it's online, it's part-time study. It's made up of 3 courses alongside a final employer project. So we have, each course is 6 weeks long, which is great because it will really go in depth and immersively in each topic that is covered. So course 1 will focus on strategy and how all the relevant tools and platforms and channels tie back into the structural foundation of strategy. That will be the focus for course 1. Then you will do a practical project, which will implement all of your learnings within, that is related to digital marketing and strategy. We don't actually do exams in this program. We feel that exams aren't very helpful when it comes to learning new content and information, especially in this modern, platform and tools and AI and everything that comes in. We are very much emphasized on really practicing the tools yourself. We feel that's the best way to learn new information, which is why we do the projects throughout the whole program. And then, once you complete project 1, a practical project, you'll progress on to course 2. Course 2 will focus on the data analytics side of marketing. So how to really leverage the data within the marketing space, how to optimize campaigns, how to make changes based on the data and the insights that are coming in. So really learning how to become data fluent and data comfortable. So learning how to leverage that data effectively. Then you will do that practical project that will be, focused on the data analytics side of marketing as your practical guide, implementing those new skills. What's great about projects 1 and 2 is that they're actually based on real life organizations, but presented as fictional scenarios. And then, you do get that real immersive business feel when you're doing these projects. Then you'll progress onto course 3. Course 3 will focus on leadership within digital marketing. So how to really be a leader in a new ever-changing space, how to really, navigate this space effectively and launch campaigns and manage digital marketing teams using the right technologies, having that really good insight within this current space and learning how to adapt creatively and effectively as well. This is what course 3 will really focus on. Then you'll do that practical project, but project 3 will be quite creative. You can create your project on whatever it is that you have an interest in relation to marketing and leadership. Then you'll progress on to the final employer project. It will actually be the last month and a half of the program. So you'll work with a big company external to the LSE, working on genuine business problems. So all the skills that you've learned in strategy, data analytics, and leadership, you'll really be able to implement for the final employer project. So you're going to be working with this big company's campaigns, their data, their budgets, their client business situations, their real problems. And they're going to ask you guys in small groups, because the first 3 projects are independent, then the final employer project will be a small group experience with your fellow learners. And your fellow learners will be high caliber like yourself. They'll come from different marketing backgrounds, different business industry backgrounds. We'll have business owners. What's great about the final employer project experience is because you'll be working with your fellow learners that hold such different experiences and exposures to marketing that you can really learn and leverage from. So it's going to be a really excellent immersive experience in that regard. So once let's speak to Simon more about this. He is the lead facilitator on the program, which is great. Simon, how is the curriculum shaped to reflect what marketers need to succeed?
It's done very skillfully. So, and I have to point out that I'm the facilitator, so I'm not claiming credit for it but what I love about our curriculum, and actually it is what our students tell us, is that you're really getting access to kind of the best and latest research in the field. These are the things that are shaping the future of digital marketing. Then they're often sometimes it's academic research that's not yet public, and all of this is interpreted and made relevant to us and made easy to consume and apply by the LSE's academic experts and real world practitioners. And part of my job is then to help us understand how to apply that and then to do it in practice. And so basically you're kind of working with some of the best thinkers and practitioners in the world. And honestly, I get a lot from it too, right? Everyone has gaps. And so when I first started, like one of my first measures was like, wow, I'm actually learning a lot. This is actually making me a better marketer. And so there's so much there that people can benefit from. It gives our marketers who join us a really solid foundation in digital marketing theory. That's, as you said, it's about moving from strategy into leadership, into execution and reporting, and how you tie all that together. And as I was saying earlier, kind of if you understand the theory, right, it really helps you then work with teams, lead teams, get the best out of AI. And like you said, what really brings this to life is the opportunity to apply this theory. So what you said about the projects was true. What you didn't say was that this is tricky, right? Things aren't perfect in these organizations. The clients would admit that. It's one of the first things they say. And so the opportunity to overcome real world challenges, to kind of get this world-class theory, to apply it live with support of people like me, the coaches, that's really what I think shapes really sort of success. Because if you know the theory and you know how to put it into practice and you've got feedback on doing that, you can then pick up really any tool, you can slot into any role, and you can draw on that skill set with confidence. Because understanding Google Analytics is not what makes you a successful digital marketer, right? Anyone can do it. I'm just going to whisper this to you. If that's what you want to do, there are cheaper ways to do it. You can do it on YouTube, but what's going to make you successful in your use of Google Analytics is your strategic thinking. How do I use this insight that I've got to solve a problem and to use that insight that directs actions and decisions that add value to the business? You can't learn that from a YouTube video. And so that's really why I think we've shaped something really amazing here, is because that's what makes you successful. It's the ability to use a tool in the right way to solve real problems and to add real value. And I think that's and like I said, I feel like I'm doing that better because I'm getting to learn this research, discuss it with some really high caliber, smart students who keep me on my toes, and together we come to really interesting things. And that's what I think is really wonderful. So really, it's kind of, if I look back to my time as a SOC entrepreneur, I know that I would have shaped a more successful business, and maybe I still would be a SOC entrepreneur if I'd had this sort of fundamental foundational learning. And of that, strategy is the most important. And of that, I think LSE is one of the best places you can pick that up.
Thank you so much for that, Simon. You conveyed that really well. The value of strategy is just so important, especially when applying it to real life business problems and navigating the digital marketing world. So yeah, thank you for that. Now we're going to go on to the next slide, which is support network. Support network. Sam, are you on that, or is support network is the next slide for me? Okay, let's just go to program features and skills. Features and skills. So you'll join a global community of marketers, so LSE alumni and industry professionals. This program this Career Accelerator is designed for working professionals with live, and will also be recorded, classes and self-paced learning. It will be co-designed by LSE faculty and industry experts. And you also earn a certificate from a trusted, renowned university. So I would say when it comes to applying for new roles, navigating this space, doing a certification with the LSE, one of the world's most prestigious universities that's going to be valued and respected everywhere. When employers and businesses see that, you will definitely stand out as a candidate. I feel that there's so much competition in the market. Doing a career accelerator like this is very, very unique and will really showcase your newfound skills, your newfound knowledge, and just building upon that even further. So it's definitely something to consider when choosing a program like ours. And like Simon himself said, you won't learn strategy the way you will with this program. You won't learn data analytics to the extent that you will with the LSE. And learning those critical leadership skills that's so vital, that can't be taught on YouTube. A program like ours would really focus on that. So let's go on to the next slide, which is real world projects. Thank you. Okay, so you'll be working on practical projects and build a portfolio that show you have that real world experience. So remember when I was going through the curriculum and I was talking about those projects, there will be ongoing projects throughout the whole program that will be showcased at the end of the program through your LSE digital portfolio. So once you complete that program, you will receive this portfolio. This is going to really demonstrate your talent, your capabilities, and what work you have done throughout those projects. So it's going to really emphasize your skills and capabilities, essentially. So when you are applying for roles and employers may ask, demonstrate a time you showed X, Y, and Z, one of those projects will bound to show those experiences, especially for the final employer project. And it's just such a valuable portfolio at the end of the program. And it's helped many of the graduates of our cohorts secure jobs that they would want. So Simon, can you share why the employer project is such a valuable part of the program? And what do learners typically take away from it?
The employer project it's the critical bridge between theory and real world application. As you put it, it's not a hypothetical exercise. You're going to be working in teams on a genuine digital marketing challenge set by a real company, a real contact at a real company with real data. And I wish we could show the video of the pitch that one of the teams delivered as the final deliverable in the most recent employer project. So this is the pitch to the client, a formal pitch pitching their strategy and their findings and what they were going to do. I think you both perhaps know about this, Elizabeth, but what I think would stand out to you is how blown away the clients were, right? It was jaw-droppingly brilliant what they delivered. It was a pitch worthy of an agency, and what made it sort of skin-tingling amazing was that only one of those people that delivered that pitch in that team of 5 had prior experience in digital marketing. And the moment that we saw the feedback, right, the client came up on screen and his face, and just seeing the team getting that feedback from the client was just amazing. I know kind of what made that such a valuable experience for them, and I think probably for all the team, is fundamentally they got the opportunity to work as a team, like you said, with really smart people, apply the skills to a live business problem, and that means they've had that kind of tangible experience that you talked about that employers really value, right? They've had to overcome obstacles, and all the teams did. At the beginning of the 6-week project, I was just sharing actually with the team, we had a lot of people teams going, I mean, what are we doing? How do we do it? We can't get the data. There was a lot of kind of slightly panicked things, but as people settled in and started to work together, it calmed down. And you know, that being able to overcome those obstacles of just the messy nature of business and working with people, and data being missing, people going missing, work not quite working, and the initial pitch perhaps which they had to do to the client, perhaps not getting the feedback they wanted. All of these things that they've had to overcome it builds resilience, it shows resilience, and it shows that you've kind of applied skills. And that's what I was looking for when I was trying to recruit people was, has this person got grit? Have they got the skills? Have they got the experience? Do I think they can do it? And the employer project, you asked what people get from it. People get that confidence, and that's why it's such a powerful part of their portfolio, right? It shows you can deliver results. It shows that you can move beyond. And what we see is what's amazing is that, and what I saw on that pitch session was a team of people who just a few months before were just students. I was looking at them and talking to them afterwards as if they were digital marketers. And that realization was like, wow, okay, this is working. This is, people are getting what they need from it. Because it felt like in the kind of the debrief, like I was talking to a digital marketing team, right? How are we going to do this? How are we going, that kind of thing. And it's just, of course, that's amazing. It's testament to their hard work. Obviously the expertise of kind of the LSE people behind the scene, people like Elizabeth supporting them, but really kind of the employer project is where you transform from being a student into a practitioner, and it just makes you more employable. I think that's about as much as I can say about it. I can't speak highly enough of it, to be quite honest, and yeah, it's good.
Thank you so much for that, Simon. Really liked how you emphasize the value of the projects, and speaking about the learners' experiences, that was really good to hear. So thank you for that. So now we're going to talk about, the coaching. So essentially transforming your career in 6 months. It's going to be an amazing experience. You'll be assigned an executive career coach once you're enrolled in the program. They will firstly help you figure out your career goals, and they will support you in, achieving your career goals in practical, realistic goals. So let's speak to, Elizabeth today, who's very kindly with us. Elizabeth, from your experience, how does career coaching help learners overcome the barriers that might be holding them back and reach their goals faster?
So the beauty of how we operate with career coaching here at Full Forever and with LSE is you all have your own individual career coach. It's not group coaching. We do a bit of group coping, which is optional. You can come to that if you prefer a group setting. You do have the option to come together and learn from your peers when we're talking about careers. But the main focus of it is you get one coach that you are going to work with through your whole journey, who is going to understand you, who is going to ask you questions, figure out why are you here? Why have you made this decision to come and learn more about digital marketing or learn digital marketing for the first time? What was your motivation? And working with you to understand what works for you and meeting you where you're at. So everyone is at a different stage in their journey. We have some, like I said at the beginning, we have some people that are career starters, haven't, touched on the digital marketing world before. Potentially your career coach, because they're one-on-one for you, will meet you at where you're at. Then we have people looking to change careers. Completely different types of conversations are going to happen, because we talked about the transferable skill set and understanding how your previous experience can be leveraged going forwards with what you want to achieve. And then we have people who are looking to advance their careers or add to their toolkit. And how does it work in that space? How do we look at where people currently are? You could be really happy in your current role and you're actually not looking to leave your current employer. But how does career coaching fit into that? We work with you going, okay, you're learning all these skills. How can you apply them at work? How is that going to happen? So it's around coming to career coaching, turning up as yourself, having honest conversations. And we're not always everyone's best friend. We will ask questions. We might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. We will probably push you outside of your comfort zone. But it's about ensuring you get to the point you want to be in your journey, but you have someone every step of the way holding your hand, holding you accountable, helping you understand what steps you need to take, instead of just going out potentially to the job market all on your own with a CV no one else has ever read, or potentially, your Aunt Ethel might have read it. But you get dedicated support from people who read CVs day in, day out, understand what the market is looking for, understand what employers are looking for, and we can share all of that knowledge with you and impart it on you to help you use it where you want to go with your career.
Thank you so much for that, Elizabeth. That was amazingly explained. Actually, some questions did come up when you were speaking, so we'll go through one of them about career coaching. Give me a second. So everyone that asks a question, please ask it on the Q&A section, not the chat section, the Q&A, and that way we can answer your questions a lot easier. One person asks, do the career coaches help secure a role?
So we have some industry links, but we're not here to get you the job. You need to put in the work. You need to go and find the jobs that you want to apply for, because you'll have a different goal to someone else. You'll be looking for something different in an organization. So what a fellow learner is looking for, but we will help you in terms of, once you've found that role, or we'll help you identify what types of roles you want. Because it's all well and good saying you want to go into digital marketing, but there'll be much more to it. You might want to go into digital marketing in pet health, or digital marketing in a sock business like Simon used to run, or digital marketing in fintech. And the way you write your CV and the way you position yourself on your portfolio will be different depending on where you want to go. And your career coach will help you understand where you want to go, what type of organization you're going to be most happy in. And that's not just about the industry, it's also around the culture and what type of things you want that organization to have, helping you craft your career documents and your journey to support your applications into those organizations.
Thank you so much for that, Elizabeth. That was amazingly explained. Let's go to the next slide, which is common questions. Build AI marketing skills. Sorry, Sam. Build AI marketing skills. So you'll be experiencing during this program a dedicated, in-depth AI and digital marketing learning track as part of the Career Accelerator curriculum. So these will be 4 live sessions spaced throughout the 6 months. It'll be run alongside the course curriculum. And these 4 live sessions will be hosted by industry experts, providing their expertise and insights into digital marketing and AI, what's happening now and what's to come in the future as well. So you actually focus on real life world case studies and have live Gen AI demonstrations, which is pretty exciting. So the focus of the learning track essentially is to build on the relevant AI skills you'll need in the workplace. And in the end, you'll actually earn a digital badge proving your AI literacy. So I feel like with everything that is happening now and what's happening ahead, having these 4 live sessions will be very useful. These sessions will go into depth and you'll be able to ask questions during these live sessions. So it's going to be a great thing to have on your profile, on your credentials, and receiving that thorough AI education is what this learning track will really cover. So sorry about that. So that would be the AI masterclasses. Let's go on to the next question, which is common questions. Is there anything stopping you from enrolling? There are, when I do speak to learners on a daily basis, one of the most common things is time or cost or value of the program. With this course, what you will invest in with the 6 months, you will invest in the long term of your career. This is this is a flexible program. It's online, it's part-time study. You can log in anytime you want during the week, as long as you can dedicate roughly those 16 to 20 hours. And that will include the 2-hour live sessions every week that will be hosted by your academic course facilitator, like Simon, who will be teaching you the course content, the curriculum, teaching you about the strategy, the data analytics side of marketing, the leadership. You can ask questions during these live sessions, really gauge and make the most out of those sessions. But say there is a day that you absolutely cannot attend a live session, then it will be recorded for your convenience. But it would be, highly obligatory that you do attend, but say you cannot. There is that flexibility within the course. Say a week becomes really busy, you have your student success team that will be supporting you, helping you allocate hours that are good for you in that week. So when it comes to timing, we enroll very busy working people with full-time jobs, families, people that are on career breaks, and we make it work for all the learners enrolled. So there is that flexibility. When it comes to like cost and payment options in the program, we have very flexible payment plans that are all interest and fee-free. And some of these payment plans include discounts. So there is that flexibility in that regard as well. And then when it comes to, level of experience, as I mentioned earlier in this, in our session, we have a wide range of learners, learners coming from marketing backgrounds, different business industry backgrounds, business owners, and they all hold such, different experiences to marketing. As long as you hold at least 1 year work experience with that exposure to marketing or business, there is that capability of you to complete this program and be successful. If there are learners that, may not be fully eligible, there are always options that we can discuss when it comes to this career accelerator, because it's designed for your usage and for you to benefit the most that you possibly can within this course. Because this is more of an experience rather than a course, which is why we have designed it 6 months, and which is why we have, amazing coaches like Elizabeth and really, intellectual academic course facilitators like Simon, who really will support you on an ongoing basis. And alongside that, you'll have your student success team as well, all fully committed and devoted to help you accelerate in your career. So let's go on to the next steps. Thank you. So registration for this Career Accelerator closes on the 7th of April this month. So if you book a time with myself, that will be for the first step for understand your eligibility, your career goals, and whether it will align with the program outcomes. We also will be able to discuss the flexible payment options. So there is a link on the chat below where you can book a time with myself and we can really have a proper conversation and understand the value of this program and how it can help you. So let's now go to the Q&A section. Thank you for everyone that posted questions there. We're going to go through that now. And Elizabeth and Simon, if you want to answer these questions as we go along, feel free to put your hand up and answer. That would be also great. So let's go through the first question. What makes this course better than others out there? Thank you for asking that question. Simon, do you want to answer this question, or it's up to you, or I don't mind answering it?
I think, we've talked a lot about the process. The outcomes are what I think probably people care most about. And I just want to go back to the outcome that I saw on the most recent employment project, which was people that 6 months earlier hadn't done any digital marketing, didn't know strategy, were literally sat there as if they were fully fledged digital marketing consultants. And, such an incredible transformation. I haven't seen that kind of transformation in similar programs. And I have been involved in other digital marketing programs. I've taught digital marketing elsewhere. And the reason that I'm kind of here and still here with LSE is because of the outcomes. The badge, let's be frank, right? I used to work for Harvard Business School, and I bring that up all the time because it's just a really good badge. I used to work for Sir Tim Berners-Lee, the guy that invented the web, and I've mentioned that all the time, right? These things are real. They're part of my branding, and they're, being an LSE alum will be part of your branding as well. I think that's a big difference. And then just the comprehensive nature of it is kind of, there will be things that you will pick up again in years to come that perhaps you haven't had a chance to apply, let's say maybe leadership, and just being able to draw back into really solid foundations. Wherever AI takes us next, if you're an empathetic, strategic thinker and you love the domain, you're going to be successful. So I think this is it's setting people up for success. I think that is what really is the difference.
Thank you for that, Simon, for that thorough answer. And it's valuable to know you've had all those experiences of previous schools and whatnot, and you've had such an amazing experience with us so far. So really good insight. Thank you for that. The next question is, what is the cost and time commitment? Can I do this course while working full time? As I explained earlier, the flexibility of this program is designed for busy working professionals. It's designed for all types of learners, whether they're on career breaks or they're working part-time or they're studying. We try to make this course as flexible as possible for you as learners, you know. As long as you can dedicate roughly those 16 to 20 hours, which will be self-paced learning, like you can log in anytime, and you can tune in for those 2 live sessions, which will be so immensely valuable, then it definitely you can make it work. And in regards to the cost of this program, total cost for the 6-month Career Accelerator is £6,300. However, we do have very flexible payment plans that are all interest and fee free, and some of these payment plans do include discounts as well. So if you book a time with me, we can have a proper chat about your circumstances, payment plans, and your career goals. So book that time with me and we can have a proper chat about that as well. That will be entailed. So thank you for that question. The next question is, what does the career coaching entail? Elizabeth, I don't know if you want to answer that question. I know you've covered that quite well before, but
yeah, I can go into a bit more detail. I try not to repeat what I've already said. So by joining this program, you'll have a dedicated career coach that will work with you throughout the duration of your studies and for a set period of time afterwards, because we understand there is a massive time commitment, especially, you know, if you're juggling working full time, other life commitments and this course. And then we say, oh, you have a career coach that you get to meet with for an hour once a month or every 2 weeks. Trying to fit that in is sometimes hard. So we do continue to work with you past graduation. So after you have finished your employer project, you still have access to your career coach to have those one-on-one sessions. Outside of your one-on-one sessions with your career coach, we do group coaching as well, which you get invited to genuinely when you're in your EP. So when you start your employer projects, at that stage, we open up group coaching, which is really focused on supercharging that career outcome and getting you there. And you get to learn from your peers as well. But we keep these groups really small. We try to ensure they are no more than 10 to 15 people. Quite often we keep them smaller, and that has 2 coaches in each of those sessions, and they run for 5 to 6 weeks, and we meet weekly to really push you forwards with what your career goal is. You have access to an online career toolkit as well. So if you have time and you want to go off and look at certain things about different job search strategies or doing reflections, understanding your skill set, understanding your personality type, how do you use LinkedIn, how do you do a portfolio, we have an online toolkit that you can dip in and out of as and when you want to. And then outside of that, we also have a community as well. So we have a platform where you can all chat and speak to each other that as career coaches, we jump into as well. So you can pretty much post a question any time of day and we will get back to you in a timely fashion, and you can support each other as well. So we do try and create a community, not just with the digital marketing LSE, but with our wider student community in the career space as well. And you just don't know who you're going to meet, right? There could be someone on a different program of ours that has a job opening or works for your dream employer, and you have the ability to engage with those people.
Thank you so much for that, Elizabeth. That's so great to hear about the value of your coaching, and what it provides. Actually, another question did pop up about career coaching. How long do we have access to the career coaching after the end of the course?
That depends. Sometimes we are running different promotions. So like we were saying, in terms of the costings and payment plans and things, generally speaking, it's 3 months after you graduate, but sometimes you can actually get access for a whole 12 months. So from the date in which you join the course for 12 months. So it will just depend when you speak to your enrollment advisor at that stage, what we're able to offer. But the minimum will be 3 months access after you've graduated.
Thank you for that. So the next question is, how do the lectures work? Are they with Simon? So the 2 live sessions, I assume they're talking about. Simon, would you want to contribute?
Well, they can be with me. It depends which cohort you join. The way that it works, so we have 2 live sessions a week. The first session each week is on a Tuesday generally. It's a drop-in session, so it's like an open office hours. I'm generally talking about a topic, or so Elizabeth mentioned the community platform. There's a lot of stuff, so I post a lot of stuff, and we post things like some stuff that's kind of interesting and that provokes a discussion, or people ask questions. So that's a kind of informal Q&A. Or if I've got to be in my bonnet about something that's come up before, like we did a big thing on data ethics, or we might do a dive into like HubSpot, the CRM, or we might we've played games like assembling the digital marketing platform. There's lots of stuff that we've done, so it's a bit more informal. And then on Fridays, it's a more formal workshop where we'll be looking at the content people have been covering and the assignments that week. And I'll be talking through that topic. So talking through the fundamentals and then talking about how they're applied, sharing some of my experience, getting other people, so students to contribute. So there's a lot of interaction, and really just thinking, okay, if you're trying to do this week, how do you go about doing it? So a bit more structured. So Tuesdays is informal. I quite enjoy Tuesdays because you never quite know what's going to happen. But I love Fridays because I kind of know that is the topic we're focusing this week on, for example, budgeting for a digital marketing campaign and looking into budget spreadsheets or doing some statistical analysis with ChatGPT or whatever it might be. So yeah, a bit more structured on Fridays.
Thank you for that, Simon, much appreciated. One person did ask in regards to the live sessions, what time will the live sessions roughly be around, and will it be the same for each live session? So I think you covered that.
Yeah, I mean, live sessions are generally at 12 GMT, but I mean, they are all recorded. So, and people, I know that people, so we kind of have an in joke, like we've got the live crew and the catch-up crew. So, we've got people who are like in Australia and they can't always make it, and they tend to watch the recording and then go onto Circle and make some comments or ask a question. So it's kind of quite an interesting set of interactions that we have. Yeah, so sorry, that was a long way of saying midday on Fridays.
Thank you for that. The next question is, what is the value of the course certificate to employers compared to an MSc or the CMI exams? I think that's a really valuable question. I think Simon explained it early in the session, the value of the LSE certification and his experiences working with big names, and how the value of this LSE certificate really does make you stand out. You're doing a practical program with projects throughout the whole course. You're working with a big company, working on really complex business problems. And at the end of the program, you'll receive that LSE digital portfolio that you can really showcase to employers. It definitely will make you stand out because it is quite a unique program. It's something very unique, and it's with a prestigious university. So, not only would you have that certificate, but you have the evidence of your work to back up the value of what you've done and your skills and your capabilities that you've gained from this career accelerator, essentially. And we've had so many student success stories to prove that. I mean, look at Sophia Steffu. She came from a recruitment background, and she was able to successfully transition into, the role as marketing executive for Clarion Events, which is a big events company in the UK. And she was able to do that thanks to the LSE name, that certificate that really helped her stand out. And her career coach helped her leverage that moving forward. So I hope that answered your question. Thank you for submitting that. Another question, I think is for all of us, Simon and Elizabeth. How can this course be a stepping stone to do a master's at LSE? I mean, it depends on your career goals and ambitions. If you want to do a master's program and you feel like that aligns with your your goals, you would be open to doing that. You would be part of the LSE community, that alumni network. So that would be a possibility. The second question is, how does career coaching support us into landing a job after the course? I think Elizabeth did cover that. Elizabeth, you did cover that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to do it briefly again. We're here to support you understanding what your goal is and then helping you position yourself in a market for your right audience. So where you want to be, and we will help you with how you talk about your transferable skills. We'll help you with your interview prep. Anything that is really needed in your journey. You might be absolutely amazing at interviews and not need any support with that, but it might be you've never created a portfolio before in your life and you want a bit more support with that. So we meet you where you're at and what you need in your journey to ensure you're successful in securing that career goal you're looking for at this stage.
Thank you for that, Elizabeth. You explained it perfectly. Let's go to the next question. One person has asked, would the course suit people wanting to work in freelance roles? That's a really interesting question, actually, because remember how I said there's like a really diverse kind of learners within the program. Not one person has the same sort of, same career background. What the beauty of this course is that it does come from such unique, diverse career backgrounds. So marketing professionals, different business industry professionals. If you want to go into freelance roles, that is something that your career coach can support you with, moving forward. It really depends what you want to do and how you want to go about doing that. Your career coach will support you with that. Your student success team will, make sure that your well-being is good when you are studying this course. You have your academic course facilitator like Simon teaching the course content. So you have all these tools and platforms given to you during the program, and you're given that support on an ongoing basis to help you achieve that. So whatever it is that you want to achieve, this digital marketing career accelerator is quite a unique way of really achieving those critical, essential career goals for 2025.
I was just going to jump in there and say,
go ahead.
Before we came on here, I shared that 3 of our current learners I am working with, and I only work with a small proportion of our digital marketing students, but 3 of them that I am working with all wanted to be freelancers, and they've all just landed their first paying client. And we have so many stories, career outcome stories of people who have become freelancers or even set up their own businesses and they now employ staff. So it all comes down to, where do you want to go? And as career coaches, we'll meet you there. But I think Simon probably has something to add on that point as well, because I saw him come off mute.
Yeah, I was just going to add that I think it's great for freelancers actually, because the badge helps, frankly, but so does the focus on strategy. I think one of the things that's often I've been a freelancer in digital marketing, and one of the things that we always often have to draw customers back to is strategy, because without strategy, you haven't got the map, you haven't got the resources, you haven't got the direction, and many clients, not all, overlook that part. And if you can add some value by really good strategic thinking, that's just going to sort of take you up a tier. You're going to move from being kind of a commoditized SEO consultant to being like a proper digital marketing strategy consultant. It's more interesting work and slightly different. So it's that strategic perspective. I think it's a great question actually. I was kind of chewing it over, but yeah, I think kind of the underpinning theoretical frameworks and applying them is often what's missing for a lot of organizations. And if you can apply that as a consultant, you're going to add a lot of value to your customers and therefore add a lot of value to your pocket as well, to your bank balance.
Thank you for that, Simon, much appreciated. Another person asks, how is this course equipped to keep up with AI? Everyone is saying we will be replaced, sad face. That's actually quite sad.
Yeah,
What do you think, Simon?
well, I think as I was trying to point out earlier, there's a huge demand for marketers. Um, we're not going to be replaced by AI because the people who are going to be replaced by AI are the people that just are just doing kind of manual stuff around digital marketing. Really good digital marketers are using AI as an assistant to really make themselves more productive. And that combination of just really good marketing skills, a passion for the work that you're doing or the sector, and a really able, tireless, fast assistant. Honestly, that's the killer combo. Those are the people that I know, the people that I'm working with, the customers agencies are looking for. So we're not going to be replaced, I don't think. But let's talk again in 10 years' time. In the meantime, what people are recruiting for are just people that are smart, have show they can use it, and then can use AI effectively. And you know, that's a good thing, I think. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, and I completely. Yeah, no, Simon, that was a great answer. I feel like AI and marketing very much combines together, and it can be your best friend. So those AI masterclasses can really help with that.
Totally, totally.
Thanks for that.
Making it a friend,
Another,
give it a good job.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Another person asks, is the schedule the same course by the same second semester of the year? So I don't know if you were tuned in when I was talking about the course curriculum, but course one, there are 3 courses, course 1, course 2, course 3. Each course is 6 weeks long. Course 1 focuses on strategy in digital marketing. Course 2 focuses on data analytics of digital marketing. And then course 3 will look at impactful leadership in digital marketing. So there will be very different courses, but they will really go immersively in depth, and you'll be doing practical projects after them to implement your learning. So I hope that answers your question. Another person asks, is there a reading list? So Simon, do you want to contribute?
That's a really good question. I don't know if we share a reading list. I mean, there's definitely on Circle, the community platform, I and others are always sharing kind of ideas of stuff to read, like blogs or I've currently got a bee in the bonnet about content design and content strategy. So I've been sharing lots of really great books about what I think great books, about a really interesting topic, like how you lay out content so people can absorb the information and take action in the right kind of way. So we share that kind of thing. But yeah, there is each topic has its own kind of reading list and set of research, but the content is integrated into the modules. And then at the end of it, there is a reading list and extra resources. So kind of what we do is we say, here's the fundamentals, there's some videos and we talk about it in lectures, and then there's generally kind of recommended extra reading. But all the essentials that you need are kind of there in the content. You don't have to go further than that if you want to, and we always recommend that you do. It's signposted in the actual modules themselves, but also we share kind of other stuff, complementary stuff on Circle as well. And I know that Elizabeth and her team share things as well. So kind of the stuff that's set in stone and kind of adapted regularly is as a module, and then Circle is kind of a bit more of a kind of live social place where we share our latest thoughts.
And I was just going to say on that, I think that highlights how much this program keeps up to date with what is going on, like what are the trends, by us, sharing those links. And see, Simon does lots of, I'm sure, reading and work to find out what is hot right now, like what are the things people need to know, and you get access to that. The team do their best to share that stuff with you, so you don't have to go looking for it yourselves. We would recommend you do, but obviously Simon and the rest of the facilitation team do that work in the background to ensure you have like the most up-to-date thought stuff that is going on.
Yeah, and the students are always participants are always keeping us on our toes and sharing new stuff and challenging us with their latest findings. So it's kind of a bit of a race between us often. That's what it feels like anyway, which is good. Keeps us on our toes, but yeah, keeps everything fresh, which is really good.
Thank you so much for that, Elizabeth and Simon. That was really valuable. I think now we've come to an end. So thank you so much for everyone that submitted their questions. Thank you to Simon and Elizabeth. Thank you so much for your experiences. It's just good to hear about the students, how they're doing within the program, which is great. I would say if you guys are interested in learning more and joining our upcoming intake, 14th of April is when orientation will begin. Course 1 will begin on the 28th of April. So if you want to join and, meet Simon, have amazing coaches such as Elizabeth, then book a time with myself today and we can have a proper chat about your experiences, what you want to achieve, and how we can really accelerate your career for this 2025. Because, there's so much that can be achieved within the course of this year. We're still in the first part of the year. So imagine where you will be at the end of the 6 months. So please book that time with me today. It's on the chat. Book that time and we can have a proper discussion about where you want to be. So thank you so much, Simon, Elizabeth. It's been a real pleasure. And everyone tuning in, thank you so much for your patience. I know it's been a bit late, but yeah, let's call it a wrap, folks. Have a lovely evening. And I look forward to seeing you booking times in my calendar tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Shauna.